Hey, everybody. We're getting started at 12 o'clock. Hey, everybody. It is Kelly Charles Collins, the speaker mogul, and I am here because today we're going to be talking about the 6 P's to building a six-figure and beyond expertise-based speaking business. So, a couple of housekeeping things. If you're here, say hi. If you're watching me on Facebook and you want me to know that you're commenting or you're saying hello, you have to give Facebook permission to show your name and all that kind of stuff. I think LinkedIn might have that also. If you know anyone who is a speaker, an expert, a professional service provider, a coach, a consultant who wants to leverage their experience so that they can get paid to speak, you need to share it with them. So share it with 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, 10 people. I don't care how many people you share it with, but share it, share it, share it. What I want to do is I'm going to check to make sure we are live in the places that I said we were going to be live. So let me do that really quick while we wait for you all to join us. I see that I'm live on YouTube. Let me make sure that I am live on my Facebook page and that it is actually visible to the world, because sometimes it's not visible to the world. So, yes, it is visible to you all. I am live also in my Facebook groups. Hey, who's joined me? Say hello. Let me know that you are here so that I can say hi to you. But we're going to be talking about the 6 P's to building a six-figure and beyond expertise-based speaking business. So I'm always being asked, like, how do I make money speaking? How much do I charge? Where do I get paid speaking engagements? All the questions around monetizing your speaking and monetizing your expertise. Well, that question often comes out of context. And what I mean by that is that there are a lot of people who are out there in the world who have been speaking on stages. So you may be speaking maybe at church, or you may have been speaking as part of your job, or you have been speaking at a local conference, and you've been doing that for free, right? You have not been paid for that. And now you see other people getting paid to speak and making money speaking, and you want that too. And for the majority of you, that's the right desire, right? It's the right desire to want to be paid for your expertise, because if you're an expert and you are out there in the world changing people's lives, creating impact, you should be paid for that, right? And I agree with that. The problem is that many of you do not have, those of you who are not being paid, there's many things that are causing that, right? So part of it is not understanding that speaking is a business. So because a lot of you like to speak, right? You like to be on stage, you like to share your story, you like people to hear your voice, you've just been out there giving it away for free, not understanding that it's not a hobby, right? For some of you, it might be a hobby, but for those of you who really want to make a living, it's not a hobby, it's an actual business, and it needs to be run as a business. So before we dive deep, deep, deep into all of this, let me just give you a little bit of background about who I am and why you should listen to me. And yeah, for those of you who don't know me. So I'm Kelly Charles Collins. I am the CEO of HR Legally Speaking. So HR Legally Speaking is a training and consulting firm. And what I do is I work with corporations to empower their teams and their leaders to disrupt unconscious bias and to build inclusive and conversational cultures where every person and every voice matters. So as a professional speaker myself, that is what I do with that part of my company. I'm also the CEO of Speaker Moguls. Now, Speaker Moguls is where I am a strategic consultant for women, experts, professional service providers, coaches, and consultants who really want to leverage their experience. So it could be their professional experience or their personal experience. They want to leverage that experience to become thought leaders, to command premium rates, and to build a thriving expertise-based speaking business. And there are different ways that I work with people to be able to do that. One is in our Thought Leader Circle, which is our 12-month really intensive program. Another way is through our signature talk experience. So I really put people in three, like put my potential clients in three categories, right? There is a whole thing about like explore. The people who are in the exploration phase, they just want information, trying to just see, is this right for me? Or is Kelly right for me, right? Because Kelly's not right for everybody, right? So we're trying to figure out. So you're in the exploration phase. So like here, being here with me today, this is exploring, right? Coming to my Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop that's coming up. You see the link going across the bottom. It's free. You can register for that. That's exploration, right? Again, getting information about this business and also getting information about me. Do you like me? Do you trust me? Do you think that I can support you? Do you think I can get you to where you want to go? There's also people who are like, yeah, I'm beyond the exploration stage, but I need more like education, right? I need more information. So those people may want to purchase or invest in some type of course that's going to give them strategies and tips, but they're not ready for the full on mentoring experience or strategic guidance experience. So you may go into Speaker Moguls University, which, by the way, right now there's a sale going on in there. So you might want to, invest in Speaker Moguls University, where we have courses on all different types of things related to how you can build your expertise-based business. And then finally, there are those who are like, no, I'm ready, all in. We're going all in. I'm ready. I have the information. I have the education. I have the strategies. I have the tips. I need to implement, right? So that's our execution. We talk about people being in the execution phase, and that's where Thought Leader Circle comes into place and Signature Talk Experience. So those are the ways that I work with other speakers, and then the way that I work with corporations as a speaker. I tell you those things because I want you to understand that you're speaking to somebody who knows what she's talking about and who's actually still doing the things that she is talking about. So whatever I'm teaching you, I've either done it or I am still doing it. So what I want to talk to you today, though, is about what I call the 6 P's to building this expertise-based business, right? And in our Thought Leader Circle program, it's our P6 framework. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you today. I'm going to teach this to you at a high level, right? Because we're here, on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So I'm going to teach it at a high level. If you want to learn more, like you want to get deeper into it, I'm going to invite you to join me for the Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop, because I'm going to go deeper, right? We'll have 6 days of training. At the time of this recording, it's 6 days. So 6 days of training. So you just go to positionpitchprofit.com every day, starting at noon Eastern. For 1 hour, I'm going to teach you, right? And once you go to the website, you'll see what we're going to be talking about every day. But we're going to be talking about your mindset, positioning, pitching, prospecting, monetizing your message, unblocking your blessings, all the things, right, that are going to help move you forward. So today, though, what we're going to talk about is these 6 P's. So if you're here, say hello to me. Let me know if you're here. Let me know who's on with me. Like, are you already speaking? Are you getting paid to speak? Where are you on your speaker journey? And where is it that you're trying to go? Because this is going to help those of you who have a desire, right, that you want to be paid to speak, that you have some level of expertise. And I always say like a deep level of expertise, so not broad. What happens a lot of times is that people want to speak so badly that if somebody says, hey, we want to have you on our stage, and they'll say, but we want you to talk about this, you'll be like, okay, great. I can go Google that, or I could go find out about it. And then you'll speak about it. The people that I'm talking to, the people that I work with, are people who, by profession or by personal experience or a combination of both, have a deep level of expertise in an area. And that is what they want to put out into the world, right? They don't want to just be talking about any and everything and things that you can Google. That's not who this is for. It's for those of you who are really serious about building right? An expertise-based business. That's why I call it an expertise-based business, not just a speaking business, right? So, one of the things you have to understand is that you have to prepare yourself to be able to get paid to speak. And you have to prepare yourself in such a way that if you want to command premium rates, right? Numbers with commas and extra zeros, then you have to make sure that you have put yourself in a space and created a ecosystem around you that allows you to show up in the way that you're able to get that. And so that's what we're going to talk about today using the 6 P's. This is exactly what I do with my clients who pay me 5 figures to work with me so that we can get them prepared and get them out into the world and get from desire, right? I want to be paid to commitment. Okay, I'm ready to do the things that I need to do, to belief. Not only am I committed and I want it, but I do believe that I can do it. And then also to action, right? So taking the action. So let's talk about what these 6 P's are. We're going to go through them. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to be a little fancy today. Oh, I just messed this up because now I got to get my Remarkable back on. Okay, hold on, y'all. I got to get my Remarkable back on because I'm going to use my Remarkable to show you how to do this. Hold on. All right, hold. See, this is what happens because I turned my oh, hold on. I turned my Remarkable off and reset my computer. So now we got to go through this again. So again, if you're here, tell me who's here. Tell me what you where you are in your speaking business, and then we are going to work through our 6 P's. So let me do that. We got that. I think we should be set. Okay, perfect. All right. So where am I? There we are. All right. So we're going to work through these 6 P's so that you understand what it actually takes. I'm just messing up everything, y'all. Okay, there it is. So that you actually understand what it takes for you to build a 6-figure and beyond expertise-based business, okay? So our first P that we're going to be talking about is, and I write like crap, but here we go, is positioning, right? Now, some of you may have heard this term positioning, and you might not really understand what it is. So think about positioning. I always say that you want to be positioned in the penthouse of your client's mind and not just hanging out in the lobby where everyone else is, right? So what do you have to do in order to stand out from the crowd? You have to position yourself in a way that people are going to see you, right? And so one of the things that you have to be thinking about is branding. So branding is part of positioning. Now, there's personal branding and there's business branding. Most often what people are thinking about is business branding, right? So we're thinking about and we're thinking about the aesthetics of branding. So what does our logo look like? What are our colors? What are our fonts? All those things, right? Those are the things that we're really thinking about when we think about branding. But when you think about branding in terms of positioning and positioning yourself as a speaker, what you also need to be thinking about is the personal brand. And so inside of that personal brand, there are many things that you have to think about so that you are positioned in the way that you want to be positioned. So yes, it's important for you to understand what your topic is, what your area of expertise is, because all of that is going to play into how you position yourself for your potential clients, right? So when we talk about positioning, I'm always talking about the who's, the what's, the whys, because those are the questions that you're going to need to answer and be able to answer in depth so that you understand what you are putting out in the world. So who do you want to be? Who do you want to be that for? What is the impact that you want to create? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to speak about this? Why should anybody care enough to want to pay you? All of these things are the things that we work through. And when I work with my clients to help them craft their signature talks, the why, your why is the foundation. And you have to truly understand your why, not surface level, not when somebody says to you, like, why do you do this? And you're just like, oh, because. That's surface. That's very surface. You've got to go deeper and deeper and deeper and keep asking and responding to the question why, so that you get to where I say where the money resides. And where the money resides is where you truly understand your why. And you can also convey to somebody else, right? So your potential client, your paying client, you can convey to them why it should matter to them to want to pay you, right? That's really vitally important. All of those things are part of positioning. There's so much more that's part of positioning, but I want you to understand that this is where it begins. So when you start to ask about, like, how much do you charge, or where do I find paid speaking engagements? You can find paid speaking engagements anywhere, right? You can Google and find paid speaking engagements. How much do you charge? You could charge any amount, right? There are no rules when it comes to charging in the speaking business. So you could charge any amount. However, if you don't have the proper positioning and you don't understand your positioning, then those other things are going to be out of alignment. So you may find a speaking engagement, but is it the right speaking engagement? Yeah, they may pay you some money, but is that what you really want to be paid for? Right? So you have to understand that so that you can position yourself so that the number that you decide that you're going to charge is in alignment. So if I say that my speaking fee is $15,000, $20,000, $50,000, right? If I say that that's my speaking fee and I pitch to someone and then they go look at my website, they go look at my social media, hey, Cassandra, they go look at any of the things, which they are going to do. They're going to look and see whether or not your positioning is in alignment with what you're asking them to pay, right? So it's not just about like picking a number. You don't just pick a number out of the air. And again, the picking of the number, there's context to that, right? So anybody can tell you charge $15,000. But what is the context around the $15,000 that you feel confident and courageous enough to be able to even say that number and not be like, but we'll get to that in pricing, right? So first things first is positioning. Second P is prospecting. So this is about the who, right? Who are the people that can hire you? One of the things that we talk about in Speaker Moguls is CEO plus paying audience versus consuming audience, right? So when you're talking about prospecting, it's paying audience and consuming audience. If you are talking about a corporate audience, right, that you want to do corporate training, you likely will have those two audiences. If you are a coach, then the paying audience and the consuming audience might be the same person, right? So when you're prospecting, in order to prospect properly, and prospecting is going out there looking who's out there, right? Who's potentially out there who can pay me. Positioning has to be already in place, because when you are positioned, then you know, who am I speaking to? Whose problems do I solve? Right? How do I solve those problems? So now you can go find those people. That's the prospecting piece of it, right? And again, we're going to go deeper into these in the Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop, which you can register at positionpitchprofit.com. It's free, right? So the prospecting is like pulling people in. You hear people talking about pipelines, right? And having leads. This is what this is, right? This is pulling in your leads. Who are the people who can potentially pay me to speak about the thing that I want to speak about, and who want to pay for me to speak about the thing that I want to speak about. But then you also have your consuming audience. But when you're talking about the prospecting, you're really talking about your paying audience. And if anybody has any questions, please, please, please feel free to drop them in the chat in the comments. I do have Facebook open, and if you comment, it'll come whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. It will come into my screen, so I'll be able to see you. Right. So first is positioning. Second is prospecting. So prospecting is your who. When people talk about your ideal client, right? Who's your target client, your ideal client? This is this piece, the who, the prospecting. I need to go find the people who are going to pay me for the thing that I want to speak about, to solve the problems that I know that I can solve, and to solve the problems that I know that I can solve only the way that I can solve them, right? So that's your prospecting. Your third P is going to be pitching. So once you figure out who are the people, now we got to get to them. So when you come to the workshop, I'll talk to you about my 3 C's, right, to closing contracts, right? So the 3 C's of pitching. But pitching is the actual connection to the people, right? So prospecting is finding them. Pitching is going after them, right? And pitching, you have to understand that pitching is not the sale, right? We're not selling anything in the pitch. The pitch is to get their attention. The pitch is to intrigue them enough to want to have a communication with you, right? To want to get on a call with you, to want to go look at your website, to want to download something, right? That's what the pitch is about. The pitch is not for you to sell, right? So I want you to get very clear about that, because people think that, oh, I'm going to send them this email and it's going to be like my whole resume, everything that I've ever done in the world, and let them know. Y'all know, you see them on LinkedIn, right? You get all these DMs and they tell you they're pitching to you, but they're selling. They're trying to sell inside of what is supposed to be just trying to connect to you. And if you're like me, that bugs the hell out of me, right? And I will delete them, block them because it annoys me, right? So understand that, especially when you're cold to someone else, you can't just be all up in their space and like, hey, buy this thing. They don't even know you, right? They don't even know you. So it's to get their attention. And if they're ready in that moment, if this is something they've been thinking about, if this is something, thanks, Cassandra, if there's something that they're thinking about, or they have in their plans, then you might be the person that they reach out to. But know this, once they get this pitch, you know what they're getting ready to do, right? They're going to Google, they're going to go on your social media, they're going to look for everything. And if what you are saying to them in the email, they can't go and find, right, on social media or wherever they're looking and make a connection that, yeah, this is somebody that I should really take some time to have a conversation with, that pitch is going to fall on deaf ears. And just know, like in the speaking business, a lot of your pitches are going to fall on deaf ears. It has nothing to do with you, right? So don't take it personally. You got to have thick skin. Don't take it personally. It's just that might not be the right time, might not be the right topic. Maybe it went in their spam and they just didn't even get it, right? So don't worry about that, but just continue to pitch. And there's different ways to pitch. And again, we'll talk about that in the workshop on that's coming up. So just go to positionpitchprofit.com. Okay, so what is our next P? This is the one that y'all like to talk about. And this is all about pricing. So there is I don't know what I want to call it. There's a dirty little lie in the speaking business that people often like to tell you, that you have to start off speaking for free, that your pricing should be zero, and that you should do all of these things before you can even charge. Well, here's the thing. Most of you who want to go out and speaking is only new in terms of a delivery method. It's not new in terms of your expertise or your experience, right? Many of you have had long careers in whatever industry, and now you just want to use what you have learned, right? Professionally or personally, to teach that to other people. And you want to leverage speaking to be the vehicle that you use to create that communication, right? And to create an impact. So you're not new to the speaking business. You're not new as a speaker. You're new to the speaking business in terms of delivery. But everything that you know, everything that you've experienced, everything that you've been through has value, right? So you have to understand positioning, right? You have to understand prospecting. Who are your people, right? You have to understand those things so that you can attach the proper value to whatever presentation you're going to give, right? And just quick note, experts don't trade time for money. So it's not $15 an hour, $100 an hour. You're talking about generally thousands of dollars and sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, right? In terms of pricing. However, you have to be able to say that price. I always tell my clients, if you can't say it, they won't pay it. So that's one thing. But you have to be able to say it and shut up, right? I always say the number, when people say, well, what is the number? The number is the number that you say. You kind of gag a little bit, but you can say it and shut up, right? And be silent in that moment and let them respond, right? But the other side of that coin is that not only must you be able to say it, you must be able to communicate to your paying audience, the person who you've pitched to, who's now intrigued, who's now on the phone with you. You have to be able to communicate the value, the transformation that you're going to create for them and their audience, right? So their employees, their leaders, and that value and that transformation is in alignment with your rate. So I'm going to show this to you. First, I'm going to show this to you because I just love that Cassandra said that. Thank you, Cassandra. Kelly is a great teacher, but this is a great thing. So Cassandra says, once I created an inventory skill set list, I became comfortable charging my value as a speaker. Yes, because here's the thing. And I love that you said charging your value and not your worth. So I'm going to talk about two things. One, I love that you did an inventory skill set. This should be part of your positioning, right? I call it your badassery audit. Here's the thing. When you are a high achiever, a lot of high achievers like me, right? I do things, I move on. I accomplish something, I move on. I accomplish, I move on. I just do the things because I like to accomplish things. But you often forget about the things that you accomplished. And so if you're like me, who was 2 decades, right? Over 2 decades as a trial lawyer, law firm partner, mediator, arbitrator, you tend to forget, right? I'm 53 right now. So you tend to forget all of the things that you've done in life, right? So it's really important, as Cassandra put here, to really sit down and think about back to positioning. What is it that I want to speak about? Who do I want to speak to? What is the impact that I want to create? And what are the skill sets? What are the things that I have accomplished that elevate my authority, right? And let me know, because first it has to be you, right? You have to believe that you're competent enough to have these conversations, to create these transformations. And once you get there, then you can communicate that to somebody else. And then you can charge your value. I want to talk about that for a quick second, because I always talk about the difference between your value and your worth. People always say, like, charge your worth. Your worth is intrinsic, right? What you think about yourself, what you're worth. Nobody can ever pay you the worth, right? When we go and we buy something, whether we buy it at Walmart or we buy it at Louis Vuitton, we're not like, oh, this is worth whatever. No, what we're looking at is, what is the value to us? And sometimes that value might be tangible, and sometimes that value is intangible. And oftentimes when we're talking about like high end things, it's an intangible, right? It's the status that comes along with that. So what we're paying for is the status that comes with somebody seeing you carrying a Louis or a Gucci or a Prada, right? As opposed to maybe wearing shoes from Payless or, carrying a bag that you just, took out of Walmart, right? And nothing's wrong with either one. It's just, what do you value? Right? What's your value system? So when you think about what you need to charge, it is about the value, and it's not the value that's related to you. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the transformation that you are promising to your paying audience. Okay. So that's just, again, that's just part of what goes into pricing. But I'm so glad that Cassandra pointed that out, because it is really important to understand who you are, right? What you bring to the table, so that you can feel confident, competent, and then have the courage to be able to go out and command premium rates. All right. So what's the next P? Our next P is packaging. So when we talk about packaging, this is important for you to understand. So we talk about, right, building a six-figure business, expertise-based business. You can do that with one contract, right? Now, for most people, if you're thinking about, $100,000, right? And we want to go beyond 100,000, right? We want to be in the multiples going up to seven figures. That's where you want to go. But let's just start here. If you think about a six-figure contract, that can get you immediately to your six-figure expertise-based business. Most of us are not going to get that $100,000 from, say, a keynote, right? Just doing one thing. You see celebrities, athletes, politicians, really renowned authors, people like that will get those types of fees, right, to speak. There are some people that that you've probably seen on the internet, and they get those types of fees, or they may get 50,000, they may get 100,000, right? So they get those types of fees. Most often, though, when you hear somebody talking about in the speaking industry that they've gotten a six-figure contract, or over six figures, they're talking about that they've gotten this contract based on packaging, right? How they have packaged their expertise in a way for you to be able to present that to your client as, here, these are the things that I'm going to do for you, right? These are the services that I can provide. This is the transformation. This is the value. And this is what my fee is, right? So the packaging becomes very important. So inside of Thought Leader Circle, when I work with my clients in our longer container, our 12-month program, these are all the things that we go through. And what's important to understand is that when I work with clients, there's nothing like cookie cutter. There are frameworks upon frameworks. I have many frameworks. However, we meet you where you are. So some of my clients might be in the prospecting phase, some might be in the pricing phase, some might be in the positioning stage, wherever it is that you come in. But we use this framework, the P6 framework, to be able to ensure that when you go through this process with us, that you're getting everything that you need to be able to build this six-figure plus expertise-based business, right? But it's important that you understand that you have to do the work, right? I can give you all the information, I can give you all the strategy, the guidance, everything. You have to be able to do the work. So packaging becomes important when you're thinking about, well, if I have a $10,000 speaking fee, or I have a $5,000 speaking fee, and I want to get to six figures, there's multiple ways to do that, right? You can figure out, how many gigs do I need at 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 to get to 100,000, right? So those are individuals. You can think about, well, how can I package everything that I have together that maybe I could just get that one contract to get me there, right? So again, it's understanding everything that you have, everything, who you are, what you want to be in the world, the impact that you want to create, and how do you put that together to develop this business. So there's many ways to get to six figures and beyond in the speaking business. It's not just through your speaking fee, right? So we'll be talking about, hey, Nicole, we'll be talking about monetizing your message That's something that we're going to be talking about in the workshop. So again, go to positionpitchprofit.com and you'll hear from one of my clients who this packaging, right? Me talking to her about strategies related to packaging all of what she has went from having a six-figure contract to them doubling that six-figure contract because of this, because she understood what I was saying to her and she went back to them confident, competent, and with the courage to be like, no, this is what we're going to do. Right. So packaging is really an important part. Our last P is presentation skills. If you can't speak, if you can't show up properly, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how much you've answered all the who's, what, whys. It doesn't matter that you figured out who the people are that you want to reach out to. It doesn't matter that you've reached out to them. It doesn't matter that you figured out your pricing and your packaging. If you cannot present, it's over. It's a wrap, right? So presentation skills are really important. Here's the thing though. We often see and have been told that you have to do it this way. It has to be perfect. You can't say you can't say right, you can't say like, right? Because if you say those things, then all of a sudden, then you're trash. That's not true, right? That is so not true. What you have to be is you. You have to be unapologetically you, but you also have to be an expert in your field. Right? So that when you are speaking about things, I'm going to do a live on what I call the professional speaking hierarchy, right? The difference between a speaker, an expert, and a thought leader. I'll do it maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, because so that you can understand, right? The levels at which you're delivering information. But you have to know how to deliver information. You have to know how to speak in front of a crowd, whether it's virtually or it's in person, and not be reading off your slides. Nobody wants to be read to, right? Nobody wants to be read to. So you have to know this information. And so when we work with our speakers to get to their why, the foundation, and the way that we use our signature talk black print process to actually build their talk, they could do those talks off the top of their head, right? Easily. They could do those talks anytime, anywhere, because it is who they are, right? It's not something that they read in a book. It's not something that ChatGPT told them. It's not something that they Googled, not just regurgitating information. Let me see. Nicole says, Cassandra says, invest in your speaking career. If you won't invest in yourself, neither with anyone. Girl, let's talk about that for just one quick second. Let's take that detour because Cassandra, hey, Stephanie Wynn, I like this. The audacity to think that you want someone to pay you $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 to speak, right? Maybe present for 60 minutes, maybe present 30 minutes, maybe present for an hour, but you won't invest in your own education and mentoring and support to be able to command those fees is crazy to me. Cassandra, I'm glad you brought that up. How can you want somebody to invest in you at a level that you refuse to invest for yourself? Right? So I want you to pay me $5,000, $10,000. But if somebody says, hey, I have a program that can help you do this, I have program that can help you get positioned and understand who your prospects are and how to pitch to them and how to price and how to package, and let's get your presentation skills together, right? And somebody says to you, listen, that's going to cost you somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000, maybe $25,000. But the prospects on the other side of that, or that you can get that back in one speaking engagement and two speaking engagements. And you're like, yeah, no, not doing that. Not doing that. But you want that from somebody else. It is out of alignment and you're out of integrity, right? And so if you want to be in this business, you got to learn what it means. You don't have to learn it from me. even though I'm really good at this. You know, three of my clients just got their, first paid speaking gigs, and one just got her coaching client, right? And all because I tell them add a comma and a zero. Do a live about that and tell you what I mean by that, right? But you have to know again, they have to be able to present, right? So it's not good enough to just add a comma and a zero. It's not good enough to just say, yeah, this is what I do and here's how much I want you to pay me. They have to be able to deliver on that, right? And presentation is the way that you present is individualized, right? It you do it the way that you want to do it. You dress the way that you want to dress. You speak the way that you want to speak. If you feel that you have to sanitize your speaking and take out all the ums and the this, and then you have to do whatever body contortions to make sure that you're you're not, saying the filler words or any of that, that's fine. You could do that too. If you're like me and you're just like, I am who I am, I know what I know. And if me saying right is going to take you off the message, you weren't listening anyway, right? You weren't into the message. You weren't in on the journey. You were trying to figure out something to take you on a detour. So I don't worry about those things. I show up as who I am. I speak. I know that I'm brilliant, right? I know that the information that I share with people will transform your life. I know that I'm not talking bullshit. I know it's not fluff, right? And so I just do what I do. So, presentation skills, be you. Just be uniquely you. Here's the great thing. When you're on stage, people already know there must be something about you while you're the person on stage. So you don't have to go up there and spread your peacock feathers and be like, I'm the greatest. No, what people want to know is that they can connect to you, that they can learn from you, that they can see themselves in whatever the journey is that you're taking them on. And you do that by showing up as you. You don't do that as showing up as the person who wants to be a jerk or talk down to them or, like be perfect. Nobody's perfect and nobody needs you to be perfect. I need you to be perfectly you, right? So when you're thinking about your presentation skills, I need you to be perfectly you in terms of how you present. So when you're thinking about how you are going to build this 6-figure and beyond expertise-based speaking business, this is what you need. You need these 6 P's. We call it our P6 framework. So it's positioning, prospecting, pitching, pricing, packaging, and presentation skills. If you're just joining or if you're on Team Replay, welcome. But if you're just joining here with us live, go back to the beginning because I explain each of the P's. And I am going to be talking about this in more detail in our Speaker Pathways to Profit training that is coming up. It's positionpitchprofit.com. It is, as of this recording, this training is 6 days. Don't get nervous. It's only 1 hour per day. It's at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 12 to 1. It's live. You must register so that you can be on. If you want to be, it'll be live on Zoom, and then it'll be streamed into our Speaker Moguls Facebook group. But if you want to be able to be in Zoom with me and then talk to me, so we'll have it as a webinar. However, we can pull you on screen if you want to be able to ask questions. So again, whether it's you or someone you know, someone that you've been encouraging to go out there and get paid to speak, but they just don't know how to get there. They don't know where to start. They're just not sure, how do I do this? And not just how do you do this, but how do you do this the right way? If you want to learn from somebody who's doing this, who's done it, who all throughout the pandemic and up till today has earned over 6 figures in this business, right? Doing the exact same things that will talk to you about, the things that I teach my clients, right, inside of our closed containers. Obviously, I won't teach you all of that, but when you come into the container, you can learn all of that. And for you to know, yes, just like everything else and every other event that you go to, yes, I'm going to make an offer for you to and invite you to join our thought leader circle. So just know that that's going to happen. Just know also that that is a closed container. So we only take a certain number of people and only during when we're doing these events, right? So only when we're doing these speaker pathways to profit workshop events are you able to apply. It's by application only because you need to be the right fit. I'm not right for everybody. Not everybody is the right fit for me. I need people who are going to do the work and who actually have a level of expertise that I can work with to help you become a thought leader, to command premium prices, and to build a thriving expertise-based business. So first things first, jump into the Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop, positionpitchprofit.com. Thank you, Cassandra, for tagging folks. Everybody else, please tag other people, share this out. And I'll be back again sometime this week to talk about, I know I'm going to talk about the difference between the speaker and expert and the thought leader. That's one thing that we're going to talk about. So look for me to go live about that. The other thing I'm going to talk about is what it really means to when I say to my clients to add a comma and a zero, right? It's not just about the number. So thank you for joining me today. I hope this has been helpful for you and useful. I will see you at the Speaker Pathways to Profit workshop, positionpitchprofit.com. And other than that, have an amazing, amazing day. Thank you for joining me and take care.